Special coverage of the Russian elections. Well, amid fresh strikes on the city of Belogrod by Russia amid the Russia-Ukraine war, the Russian presidential elections entered their last day of voting today. Voters, especially those living in the Russia-occupied Ukraine region and in the border regions, are hoping for more stability and reconstruction of their cities in the future. My colleague Umashankar reports from Ground Zero.
Today is the last day of polling for Russian presidential election, and as we can see the long queue here at a polling booth in Moscow. There are 112 million voters here, and as per the data of Central Election Commission of Russia, more than 60% vote polled in first 2 days of polling. It will be more than 80% as per the expectation here. It's certain that President Putin is going to win again, and there is no doubt about that, and that's why preparation for the celebration has already started at Kremlin. We want to show you the kind of queue here and the kind of security arrangement here at a polling booth in Moscow. Though there is no strong opposition exists here, but the widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, Yulia Navalnaya, has called for an election day protest against President Vladimir Putin. 12 p.m. time was given to the supporters of Navalny. It was called Midday Against Putin, and it was an idea put forward by Navalny 2 weeks before his death. No major incident reported so far. Few incidents happened during the poll in Russia, like a woman put inflammable at a polling booth and tried to put it on fire, but it was contained very soon. In another incident, a woman put a green dye into the ballot box. There were also increased attacks from Ukraine in border cities of Russia in Belgrod and Kursk region. Amid tight security, voting is going on. Results would be out by tonight or early morning tomorrow, and it is not going to surprise anyone. President Putin is all set for a new 6 years term, and that's written on the wall here. In Russia, 3 days polling for presidential election is on. More than 112 million registered voters here, and the polling percentage would touch 80%. That's expected here. Let's have a quick look what's the presidential election process here in Russia. In the original constitution of 1993, there was provision of only 4 years term for the president, but in 2008, when Dmitry Medvedev was the president and Vladimir Putin was PM, constitution was amended, and instead of 4 years term, provision for 6 years term for the president was introduced. Now, how a president gets elected? There can be 2 rounds of voting. If no candidate gets absolute majority in first round, then there would be the second round of voting between the 2 topmost contenders. One has to get over 50% votes to get to defeat another. This is also a notable fact that presidential election went into runoff only in 1996 election, not after that till date. Now question is, what's the criteria for being a candidate in Russian presidential election? Applicant should be a Russian citizen. That's the first condition. Permanently residing in Russia at least for last 10 years. There should be no criminal charge against the applicant. That's also very important. So how to nominate a candidate? Let's have a quick look on that. There are 3 ways to nominate a candidate. Any political party in lower house of Federal Assembly, known as Duma, can nominate a candidate. Any political party can nominate a candidate outside Duma too, but in that case 1 lakh signature of the voters needed in favor of that particular applicant. There is a third way of nomination as well. If not a political party, then a group of at least 500 people can nominate a candidate, but it needs 3 lakhs voters signature in favor of that particular candidate. After having all these criteria fulfilled, Central Election Commission of Russia examines the applications. It can reject the application if it doesn't find a lakh or 3 lakhs bona fide signature depending on the case. Many times it's alleged by opposition party or opposition leaders that this is the tool to reject a candidature of any applicant whom Kremlin doesn't like. For example, this time Boris Borisovich Nadezhd, an anti-war leader's application got rejected because CEC found discrepancies in signatures. It was told that many signatures were of the voters whom have already died. As of now, apart from Vladimir Putin, there are 3 more candidates in the fray, but there is no chance for anyone to get elected when President Putin himself is a candidate. Right behind me is the road to Kremlin, the most powerful establishment in Russia where President Putin has been seated for a long time. Preparations are going on for the ceremony after the election result. So the road towards Kremlin is closed for now. Lakhs of tourists come here every year. Those who are coming now a bit disappointed as they are not getting the chance to see Kremlin from close proximity. Presidential elections have been held in Russia 7 times prior to this since 1991, and this is the 8th time. Before this, Putin has won 4 presidential elections. This would be his 5th term as president. He also served as the Prime Minister of Russia from 1999 to 2000 and again from 2008 to 2012. Let's have a quick look at Vladimir Putin's political career so far. Putin, who worked for 15 years as a foreign intelligence officer of the KGB, Russia's most powerful intelligence agency during the Soviet Union era, returned to Russia in 1991 after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. He began his political career in St. Petersburg in 1991. In 1996, he moved to Moscow, where he briefly served as a director of the Federal Security Service, which replaced the KGB. Putin was appointed acting president in 1999 by then President Boris Yeltsin. Afterward, he served as the Prime Minister of Russia for a short time. Putin became President of Russia in 2000 following Yeltsin's resignation. At that time, the presidential tenure was just 4 years, and after serving 2 consecutive terms, he could not contest the election for the 3rd time. Therefore, Putin served as Prime Minister from 2008 to 2012. In 2008, during the presidency of Dmitry Medvedev, changes in the constitution increased the president's term from 4 years to 6 years. Consequently, when Putin became president in 2012, the next elections were held in 2018, which he won again. Subsequently, the constitution was amended once again in 2020 following a nationwide referendum. President Putin signed a new law that reset his previous all terms. This provision allowed him to run for 2 terms again, disregarding his previous terms before the new law. Despite demands from his supporters in the party to grant him the right to remain president for a lifetime, Putin, portraying himself as a democratic person, stated that adhering to the rule of 2 consecutive terms is the correct approach. Thus, Putin, who served as president in 2012 and 2018, is able to contest the elections again this time. Moreover, he will also be eligible to contest the election in 2030 and can remain president until 2036. Currently, Putin is 71 years old and has become the leader of the Soviet Union era, who has held power as president, as prime minister or president of Russia for the longest period of time, 24 years, second only to Stalin's 29 years. Following another 6-year term as president, he will surpass Stalin's record in 2036.